Hey,
Hi, it's Spin Tunnel.
what's up, y'all?
We're back. We're live. It's Monday night here in the United States, and not like it matters. But we are here. It has been race 2 at the Auto Club Speedway, Southern California. I am Brandon. I'm alongside my colleagues. Everybody say hi down the line.
Oh.
What's up, Vito? Chris?
Yo, what's good, man?
Adrian, how you doing?
How's it going?
We're back. Spin Tunnel. So, yeah. Well,
That was a
Auto
hell of a race.
Club, man. What did y'all think?
Fantastic.
That was a hell of a race.
I thought
awesome.
it was the best NASCAR race I've seen in a long time. Like,
Yeah, it was a
Jesus.
really good one.
Amazing display. The next gen car, I guess we could call it the Gen 7 now that it's being used, has really impressed so far. I mean, it was Daytona, you know. We raced on a quarter-mile football stadium, and then we raced on a super speedway. So we went from a pack against their will to a pack that just happens. And now we went somewhere where there was just racing. And boy, it delivered, let me
great.
tell you.
Fantastic race.
Just really good racing all the way through. Like, I think the package is perfect on these cars. It has, I think, just about the right amount of horsepower and just the right amount of downforce it needs just to really make it really, really interesting. These cars are hard to drive, too, man. Like,
A lot
we
of
were
spins.
spinning out all over the place practicing qualifying. Like,
Still a little bit in the race,
two
but
guys
not as
backing into the
much.
fence. Ross Chastain
Yeah.
hit the wall head on.
But it all came around in
Like-
the end. I thought we had a great show on Sunday. A great, amazing,
Yes.
amazing show.
That was a great race.
So, without further ado, you want to just get into the
Into our
talk,
topics.
into the talk of the town. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. So, Kyle Larson,
There
Wins.
he is.
Yeah.
he wins. Oh my God, who would have thought?
Which
Kyle
means-
Larson won a race.
Which
I think
means
it's
the
interesting.
first prediction to be right this season, Mr. Brandon.
Let's
picked Kyle Larson.
go. I did it. I got one right.
Vito was almost right.
Yeah,
Almost
on the-
there.
The fact that
Yes.
Vito was almost right with Austin Dillon, that we all laughed at on the show. I don't know if any of y'all tuned into the prediction show, but we all laughed in the face of Vito over here, who said, "I think Austin Dillon's gonna win." And lo and behold, we take 2 to go, and the 3 car is in the frame running down the leader, and I was
Yeah.
like, "No fucking way, this man."
0.06 seconds behind.
But didn't
Man.
happen, but hey, great run. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But Kyle Larson back on top. California kid wins it at the home race. Did we
Yeah.
expect
I
him
wouldn't
not?
think so,
I mean, he picked up right where he left off. But I gotta say, wasn't the strongest car all day. He definitely had speed, but he didn't have it until later in the day. And when
It was the
attrition kind of kicked in with some of the other cars, and the 5 car seemed to be. It looked like the 5 and the 22 were solid in the end there, and
Yeah, the 22 was really good on the longer runs. I
Mhm.
think that if we didn't have that last caution for the 9, I think the 22 Logano probably would have won that race.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think Kyle Larson, obviously earlier in the race, he was much better in the short run, but then the car came around as some of the longer runs began to form later in the race.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting because Larson didn't dominate this race, and kind of
No,
like
not at
used
all.
to seeing domination from Larson. Like when he wins a race, we've seen him sweep stages and win the whole thing. Like
Mhm.
he dominates races. This is the first time
I mean,
Larson was like
not just a
he
race.
led like 10 laps.
He had 10 wins
All
last year. He
together.
dominated the season. Yeah, plus the All-Star. I mean, he killed it last year. And so we're only
Yeah.
2 races into the regular season now. Larson's already punched his ticket to defend his title. I mean, I didn't expect anything less. It was only a matter of time.
I'm
Of
kind
course.
of dreading it. I'll be honest. I don't want to see him dominate us.
This race
Again.
too, man.
The Kyle Larson reign of terror is not going away. I think it's here to stay for the foreseeable
fine
future.
with-
That
I think
damn
I'm good. I'm
5
good with
car,
it.
man.
And these cars so far are playing into like really good, drivers' hands. Obviously, 2 of some of the best wheelmen in NASCAR have had some ridiculously bad luck. They're both Gibbs teammates, Christopher Bell and Kyle Busch, have just been struck with horrible luck. But I think that a car like this is going to benefit both of those 2 guys because they can just really wheel it around the track. Obviously, Kyle Larson is probably the best at that.
Well,
And
it
showed on Sunday.
It showed. It showed last season. It showed back in the Chip Ganassi days. This guy's got it. and it obviously.
This dude won 4 races in a year with Ganassi. I think we all saw this coming. I think.
Yeah, but to see him just continue it is. I didn't expect anything
great.
else. I didn't expect anything else out of the 5 car. That team is on it. They are still on it. We knew they were going to be contenders to defend their title, and seeing as they already have a win now, they don't have to worry about it. They got the whole year now to prep for the playoffs. Looking good in the 5 camp.
Yeah.
However, not all things are looking good in the 5 camp. We could use this. Is this a good segue? Anything else want to add? Anything else on the Kyle Larson bit?
Nah, not really.
I don't think there's much to be said
so.
because it's kind of explained. We kind of did this last season where it was like Kyle Larson
Last
wins.
year.
Or no, not even on the last season. I'm talking just on the prediction show when we would pick. It's like Kyle Larson wins, moving on. There's nothing more to be said.
Larson wins.
He's proven it on the track. We have nothing else to talk about. It's Kyle Larson wins. Everybody goes, yep, and then we move on.
Yep.
It's just like it's just yep. Kyle Larson got yep.
Yeah, Kyle Larson.
There he goes. Look at him go. Checkered flag. But anyway, I guess we can move into our next bit there if you would like. So please. Still involving Larson. It's not really a full segue, but I think we got to talk about it. To me, the racing itself was amazing, but this is probably some of the most fun I've gotten out of it. I think everybody would agree with me there. If anybody uses twitter.com, you know what I'm talking about. This has been so fun.
Yeah.
Elliott versus Larson. Oh man.
All right, I want to say my favorite part of this whole thing. Like, my favorite part of this whole situation with Elliott and Larson is, it's the Jeff Gluck poll at the end of the races, or it's like, all right, was this a good race? Yes or no? I was looking at it this morning. It was 93% yes and a 7% no. And I'm like, who said no that this was a good race? This is a really good race.
By the way, the Jeff Gluck poll gets, usually in the 60 to 80 ballpark is a solid race. Tapping into the 90s is not that often. And this was the most passing and flying colors I've seen for a good race on the Gluck poll.
Especially on Auto Club. You never see numbers like that for
Auto Club of all places. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there before you can continue with this 93-7, which is an amazing number for the Jeff Gluck poll.
I was like,
who the hell voted no? This was like the greatest race we've seen in a decade, it felt like.
And I looked at the replies, and it was either people like, I didn't like this race because Kyle Larson won, or I didn't like this race because Chase Elliott got wrecked.
Yep, that's about right.
It was like one of the two.
Well, I heard that Chase Elliott is planning on stabbing Kyle Larson with a sword.
Has Chase Elliott won at Bristol?
No.
They give those things out for free at Bristol, Vito.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
I think Kyle Larson has one because of Chase Elliott. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott was going for a last lap pass for the win in 2020, and then we all know what happened there. Him and Logano.
I don't think it was last lap. It was like
2 or 3 to go.
Oh yeah, true. It was like
It's like, oops, we're in the wall. Hey, Brad.
He was like, hey, I win.
Larson's gotta watch out if Chase wins that lobster.
What? I'm gonna let it loose in his hotel room at night. Like, go get him, buddy. Snip, snip.
Yeah. Obviously, Twitter being the hellscape that it is, Larson fans versus Elliott fans have been at each other's throats, and even before this they were at each other's throats, which I've never really understood. They're teammates for the best team in NASCAR, probably. It's it's apples to oranges between them and Joe Gibbs. Yeah. But the fans on Twitter, even before this, have always seemed to be at each other's throats. But the beef itself, there is no beef. I think the beef between specifically Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson is getting blown pretty out.
Yeah, especially they're on the same
way
team.
Out of proportion.
Any kind of, Elliott got mad at him and called him, yelled at him on the radio. We'll get to the spin in a minute.
Yeah.
I can't believe Elliott called him that. Like, I can't even repeat it on Twitch when he called him. That was so fucked up. I can't believe he called him that.
Had to do with his Asian heritage, I think.
It did not, by the way.
Full disclosure.
It's really fucked up.
Full disclosure, that's not what it was.
No, he did. It was. He called him a few. He really went off. It was like 2 minutes, like straight.
Okay.
It was fucked up. Like.
All right. Well, anyway, I forgot where we were at now. Damn it, you got me lost. What
It was
I saying?
Elliot
talking
calling
about how
Larson
that's-
slurs.
Oh yeah,
That's
no.
where you're at.
Wait, listen. Anyway, yeah, no. So yeah, he got hot. Yelled at him on the radio, had a little spin there on turn 2 or whatever. But regardless, yeah, I agree, Adrian. I don't think the beef between them is anything of substance. It's one incident. It was it could be like Lars said, a mistake on his end. Didn't know he was up there. They made contact, got in the wall. Is what it is. Racing deal. It's only race 2. They went back home and reevaluate. I'm sure they had their little team meeting. Everything's good and grand, but the fan base, the fan base.
Oh,
Yeah,
Larson
like to back up
boy.
your point, you can see it though. You could see it last year in the way that they kind of treat, because it's like Chase Elliott's fan base, the biggest fan base. It's like I wouldn't, and I don't know if it's as big. Junior Nation's kind of hard to beat, but they're definitely large and vocal.
I think today's version of Junior Nation.
Oh yeah, no, hands down, far and away. But
That's what they are.
they're like, this is the goal. Like people say, he's the golden boy. I wouldn't, I'm not gonna say NASCAR's golden boy, but I'll say he's definitely the golden boy of this franchise. And
Yeah,
the
definitely.
franchise, this fan base.
I think he
right?
will have. I think he will have a little competition though.
Yeah. So
assuming Ty
here's
Gibbs
the
goes to
thing.
Cup.
Here's the thing. Look back on it. Last year, Larson comes to Hendrick. Everybody's excited. It's like we have the dream team now with Elliott and Larson. Then it's okay. We get to Coda. Larson's running down Elliott. Elliott's going to run out of gas. Then we get the caution. The race ends under yellow. Elliott wins. But before Elliott won, Larson won at Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So now they have a win apiece. And then with that point on, with the exception of Road America, I think Sonoma's a big one that stands out. It was just like Larson keeps beating Elliott. It's like every time they have
Watkins
like a
Glen.
one-on-one,
Watkins Glen.
here comes
Same
Larson.
thing, 1-2
You know what I
finish.
mean?
I feel like
Here comes
with
Larson.
that,
yeah.
Elliott still driving as great as he was the year before when he won his championship, but now there's this new guy who's driving basically the same car as him, who just does a little bit better every time. Just a little click better, little click better, little click better. You know what I mean? And if it's like Elliott has bad luck, Larson capitalizes and he goes and wins. Larson took the world by storm last year, which has left Elliott kind of like, I'm still doing great, but nobody's recognizing it outside of my fans. You know what I mean?
How many times last year did we see Elliot Larson 1-2?
Yeah, but who was always in front?
good amount of time. It was a lot. I think Elliott finished second last year. It was ridiculous
Elliott,
how many times he
he
finished
could have
second.
had his biggest year. He had his biggest year yet, I'd say. Outside, the championship year was big and all, but he came alive in the last bit. All year last year, he was really strong. Problem was, there was one guy who was racing, next door to him at the shop in the same damn bay. That's like like doing one click better every time. So it's kind of. I'm sure it's a little frustrating from a competition standpoint. But outside of that, the fans, who they're like the equivalent of Johnny's mom at the 8th grade youth soccer game. You know what I mean? It's like my kid's not winning anymore. And this kid's getting all the other kid who's better. He's getting all the glitz and the glam, and I'm mad about it. So that kind of boiled last year, I'd say, on Twitter. And now we have this year, we're going down the front straightaway. Elliott, who's clawed back from adversity, leading the race early on, hitting the wall, clawed back from all that issue, is coming down the front straightaway looking like he can win this damn race. Goes to the outside of Larson. Larson throws his car up the track and puts the 9 car in the wall, taking him out of the race, basically. Things boiled over and hit an all-time high in terms of the animosity between the two. So I don't know. I'll let y'all take the floor here and give you some more thoughts on it.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed it. I'm all for it. Not really being not like I don't dislike any drivers. I don't really.
No,
but I mean, just
I don't dislike
watching
anybody.
two fan bases just clash is really entertaining.
Yeah,
and I
it's
think
a
it's
lot
only
of
going
fun.
to get better over the course of the
Especially
year.
if you're not like.
One thing
Especially
I
if you
will
don't really
say.
have like your guy. It's like there's no one in particular I root for every week, so it's always fun just watching the fan base go at it all the time.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah. One thing I
But,
will say is anybody I've seen saying that these drivers have genuine beef and that this is going to boil over on the track were basically in diapers when Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon were having the exact same situation.
That's
in
what
like
I
the
was
late
gonna
2000s.
mention. Johnson and Gordon thing. Like this reminds me so much of like the late 2000s Johnson
Yeah,
and
but I
Gordon
wouldn't
thing
put
going
it on
on.
the same caliber yet.
Yeah.
Like
But
Larson,
it just feels the
Larson and
same
Elliott,
of the way
yeah,
it's
it
going
is
right
the
now.
same. But it got to the point where, like with the Elliott or not, with Gordon and Johnson, where the drivers they got vocal about it, like
Mm-hmm.
out off the track to like the camera crews of like this dude's pissing me off. Like, why don't you just go tell him? Y'all literally are in the same shop. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
and then like at Texas, they're door slamming and about to wreck each other on the front straightaway. It's like, okay, yeah, it got a little out of proportion. They started to hit each other on track on purpose and not on accident. I think Larson's was an honest accident.
I mean, his
Yeah,
spotter
no,
said
but-
his spotter
but-
on Twitter was like, "Yeah, this is my fault.
Not
I gave him bad
to
calls."
not to put him under the limelight or anything, but I don't know if that spin was an accident. I don't know.
Yeah,
What's
he
y'all's
said it was
take
an
on the?
accident.
What's y'all's take on the? I think he
He's-
said. Did he say he
My
lost his
thing is-
right rear?
Well,
He said it was an accident,
Did he say the right rear
but
went
I don't know
flat?
if anybody asked him if it was an accident.
I feel
see,
like
my whole thing is that Chase Elliott wears white gloves.
Yeah.
And I didn't really see any erratic jerk of the steering wheel, but maybe somebody with better eyes than me might have seen it. I don't know.
Yeah, but he keeps turning left and he never countersteers right to save the car.
Mm.
And he just lays in it and lets it keep going around.
Again, my thing is, he just said it, that he didn't do it on purpose. I don't think anyone ever asked him if he did it on purpose or not. He just kind of said he didn't, which gives me the impression that he did.
I didn't hear all the radio chatter, but I feel like somebody said that the right rear went down or something. But as the car comes around on the right
Something
side
was-
on the camera, it's just fully inflated. So,
Apparently, something was broke on the car. Like, it was the same thing that broke when he hit the wall earlier.
but I would. I'm impartial in this two ways here. Of like, on
I'm
one
not
hand,
sure,
on
but I
one
would
hand,
not
I'm
doubt
like,
if it wasn't.
on one hand, I'm like, give him the benefit of the doubt. It's whatever. It obviously didn't impact the race or anything, so that's why it's not really that big of a deal, I'd say, because Larson still wins and all that. But
It almost did. If Larson didn't win that race, it definitely would have. If Larson didn't win that race, it definitely would have been.
Yeah, I think it would have been a way bigger story, but since he didn't, it just went under the rug, no problem. Because then it's like, on one hand, I see, okay, he hit the wall, he got lapped, and then he went around this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. But on the other hand, it's like, okay, well, he didn't really get out of his way when they came around to lap him. And then he went around without
After
any
he got
attempt to
lapped.
save it.
Yeah.
And then I think
I'm not
back,
sure if he did.
but then, see, here's the thing. I think back, it's hard to see because he has a record in my book because of Bristol last year where he very obviously
Yeah.
had a
With
little
Bristol,
had a little
it's
dispute
like
with
he
old Kevin
wants
Harvick.
to make sure.
Yeah. So
With after Kevin Harvick, it felt like he wanted to make sure that he didn't win.
I feel like deep down, and then I'm also biased because I want to see this keep boiling over and be a total feud and be funny because it's just entertaining. So I'm like, yeah, spin on purpose, screw him over, make it entertainment, like some WWE type stuff. But it is what it is. I'm
racing
enjoying it.
entertainment. Yeah.
My big take is I don't know if it was on purpose, but I would not doubt it if it was.
I completely agree. I think that's the best way you could word what I was trying to say there.
Yeah, I think it could have been. It might not have been, but it could have. There's reason for it to have been on purpose too. So you never really know with that, and we probably never will know. But this is where we're at, I guess.
Yep.
Even if it was on purpose, let's say we did hypothetically find out that it was on purpose. I don't know how we would, but let's just say we did. I think because it's Hendrick Motorsports and you expect both of these two guys to win, with Auto Club aside, let's just say Austin Dillon won because of the spin. They're gonna win. Both of them are probably multiple times each. If this was a team like
when you lose one, it's not like you could just win again. It still sucks when you lose one.
Yeah,
it's
if
also like you're going out of your way and like manipulating the race out of the hands of another driver, which is wrong in my book as itself. But when it's your own teammate, I don't think the boss is gonna like that. You're taking not only you're not only taking away a win from your team, you're taking money out of people's pockets at that point. Like you're hurting the race team by screwing over your teammate. You know what I mean?
Old Rick's gonna have a few words with you.
I'm sure that's already been taken care of. I don't see these two are in any bad standing at Hendrick Motorsports.
He did it on purpose. He did it on purpose.
It's just like,
Rick's,
hey, man,
pulled him
I
to the
get
side.
it. He probably, here's how I think. If he did do it on purpose, here's how it went down. It just goes, I understand in like the heat of the moment in competition, but it's also like, hey, keep your head on straight. And it's like, yep, got it. Now it's no problem. It's all behind. It's in the past. It's no problem. I'm sure it's all been taken care of within hours after the race, if that. But then we get the online part. And the online part is the fun part, so it's okay. We can watch everybody yell at each other. So
the online part is the two fan bases like going at each other.
Yeah,
like
I want
animals.
the Chase Elliott fan base army to sort of brew Larson, and then we can have like the inner team fight that'll boil over into them taking each other out in the playoffs and somebody else winning. It'll be really funny and awesome.
Point of this segment is that NASCAR fans are retarded.
Yeah, basically.
Imagine the irony if instead of like Dylan up there, it was Kevin Harvick, and that made Kevin Harvick win the race. Like, imagine the irony of that happening.
It would have been pretty funny, I think.
It would have been very funny, I think.
Well, anyway, outside of this little beef we got brewing, I'd say between fan bases more than it's actually between the drivers.
Yeah, it's not really between the drivers, more between the fan base.
Here's the beef.
Do you want to move into the rest of the race, really? Because I think there was one man that stood out when it comes to the entire race.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that man is Tyler Reddick. Now,
this week's biggest loser.
Man.
He's got the frowny face. Stenhouse had it last week. Reddick had it this week. Man.
I think that could become like a weekly thing. If somebody has a little bit of bad luck.
Face.
Well, if it warrants the frowny face, you'll get the frowny face.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
This definitely does.
This one stung, dude. This one stung.
They
were far and away. I would say the car to beat. No, they were in their own postal code. It looked like the only other car. There was like one car that could run with him on, and they needed long run to keep up. So he had short run speed, he had long run speed, he had speed on the top, he had speed on the bottom. He had so much speed. This dude was gone. And then with 50 to go, he's rolling down the front straightaway, minding his own, running in the lead.
Down goes the left rear.
Shreds the left rear like goddamn Lightning McQueen in the piston cup. Like, oh my, and then he knocks the wall down.
And it would have been better. It would have been
clobbered by William Byron.
Yeah, Byron just tries to avoid him, gets loose underneath him, and just wrecks into him.
Clobbers his car, clobbers Byron's car. Man, poor guy.
Terrible.
Swept the stages. One stage 1, one stage 2. Was cruising. It's not like his car fell off, he got passed. It's not like he made a mistake. He was literally just riding along, got 3 seconds on the field, about a second back to second, and then all of a sudden, there goes the left rear, and he's in the wall. You know what I mean?
First time ever at Montana, the winner of stage 1 did not win the race.
That is true.
Yeah, that's true. The first time that's ever happened
since
racing, the stage 1 winner didn't do it. I think maybe what might have happened is he might have just been running the top too early, because Tyler Reddick, he runs the top. That's his thing. He runs the top. And he might have just run it too hard too earlier in the race.
They've been on the top all day. Their car was
but he ran the bottom
up there.
Through stage 1 and 2.
That is true.
He was in the bottom for a good bit, but I think in the beginning of stage 3, he would start.
He did the tried and true old
probably
school
a little too
method
much.
Of starting on the bottom and then slowly moving up as the grip falls off.
Yeah, but I think he just tried to stay on the top at the end of it. And that might have been what did it. He might have just put too much into it.
Yeah, I don't know. It sucked to see.
That's just a guess on my end. I'm not sure.
But if there's anything that we pull out of it, it is that Tyler Reddick he's here this year. We saw it coming.
If he doesn't win,
we talked about it in our predictions. We saw it coming. We said he might get one later in the year, like the Roval or something. It could be anywhere at this point. We're going to Homestead in a couple weeks. No, they moved that. Damn.
No, Homestead's playoffs.
Vegas. Vegas next week? He could win. Anywhere he could win.
Could win Vegas.
He looks strong everywhere. He could win anywhere.
Yeah,
I
feel like he's going to specialize on those tracks where you can just run the top, because that's been his thing.
Here's my thing.
His whole career.
We talk so much about how the next gen car is going to give guys like JTG, maybe Rick Petty, that kind of kick they need to make the playoffs on points. Do you think it gives maybe Richard Childress, maybe make a round of 8 run, maybe even a shot at the championship 4, something like that? Because it's looking like Reddick's going to be a key.
All I'm saying is Homestead is a round of 8 race this year.
Well, my 2 cents on it. Here's my take for that question would be. You look at it's really early on. We have a long season to go. So the
Yeah,
answer
me
would
too.
be, you can't say it's a long season.
Yeah.
We don't know yet. We've only seen 2 races. But my answer is that, but in a more optimistic tone, because I think with what we saw yesterday alone, the door is wide open for anybody. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have faith in 1st through 25th can win. Honestly, if
Which
they
is
get it
awesome.
right.
Yeah,
Like,
I love
we'll
that.
get to this
Guys
in a
were coming
minute.
back from
Later
super
on, we'll
deep in
come
the
back to
field.
that. But I mean, Reddick proved to me that Reddick running and the rest of what we'll get to in a minute, everybody else out there, to this race proved to me that the door is wide open for anybody to make it, and anybody. There's definitely going to be our favorites. I'd say come around to it. It's going to be our typical good old Gibbs and Hendricks and blah blah blah. But man, the door is open for if you get it right and you want to really make a shot at it. They can. I see Reddick maybe having a shot. I'm not gonna say championship winner, but I'm saying we could see some deep playoff runs out of people that we didn't even maybe think would make the playoffs. Honestly, like
Yeah.
I don't know yet. Because, and I don't think any of us know yet. It's too hard to say. It's too early. But the door is the potential is there. It could very well happen, and I'm all here for it.
Here's
I'm
one.
really
Here's
hoping
one
to
way I'll
see
compare it.
RCR. I'm
Yeah.
really hoping to see RCR get back to where they used to be, like in the mid 2000s sort of time when they had like Kevin Harvick and Jeff Burton and that with that whole team, because that was a great team. I'm hoping they get to that level of success again where they can contend for championships and contend for wins on a weekly basis. I'd love to see that out of RCR again.
Here's how I'll compare it. Right, Gen 6 era. If kind of a not top team, not a Stewart Haas, a Penske, a Hendrick, or a Gibbs, had a really fast car, they could sometimes contend for wins, but usually like a top 5 finish, and you're like, yeah, that's a good day. We had a really fast car. Now all those top 5 finishers are going to be just contending for wins, and it's going to make this a really, really interesting playoffs. I think when I think Tyler Reddick definitely has a chance to make the championship 4. He'd be my pick right now to surprise a lot of people.
As a shock, I feel like if he makes the round of 8, there's a good chance just because Homestead's there. And we know Reddick at Homestead.
Homestead and honestly just 1.5s in general. Like he could honestly point his way into the championship 4 in the round of 8.
Rick
I don't know about that, but I think
Jones.
it'll be interesting to see.
I like that, Vito. Let's talk about it. The underdogs.
Oh man, we had a lot of them.
Yes.
Lot of them.
Great. I mean, I'm
Let's start.
ecstatic for it.
Rick Jones.
We gotta stay. I say
Eric
we gotta start with
Jones,
Eric Jones.
man.
Outside of Tyler Reddick, I would say Reddick he's a clear in a way. He was a playoff contender, so I'm not gonna give it as much praise, even though he definitely earned his keep, and that's why he got his own segment. But Eric Jones, man. This wasn't like, look, the 43 cars running up front in like the beginning. That's what we said.
Yeah.
Then he never
It's
left.
like, oh, hey, it's
He
43
He
car,
qualified
yeah.
second.
And then
He never left the top 5. He ran second pretty much all day.
He led laps.
He
a
led
lot.
laps. But then he never fell off. The pit crew nailed it on all the stops. They drove it back out there and kept running in second. Guys
He
would
made
find
one
speed.
mistake, I feel like, and he still came back up.
Guys would find speed, come driving up in there. They ain't passing Eric Jones, though. They ain't passing Tyler Reddick. Those two were
I gotta
going.
say here.
So, yeah, I brought it up. I said, Eric Jones being the only guy that, there was one guy that could contend on the long run, with Eric Jones, or Tyler Reddick, and that was Eric Jones, of all people, in the damn 43 car.
I mean, I gotta say here, right? On the build up to next gen, I would always make fun of like Dale Jr. on the podcast, saying like, "Oh, this is great. It's giving this is going to give NASCAR. They're giving the smaller teams the opportunities." With this fucked up CTE head, go like, "Oh yeah, NASCAR's giving all these smaller teams the opportunity to," and then he'd stop for 8 minutes, because he does that because he has CTE. And then he'd say like, "Yeah, the smaller teams, they'll start winning races, they'll start leading laps," and I would make fun of that a lot. But what do you know? I'm eating my words. Eric Jones with petty GMS.
And then you got other guys like Austin Dillon who ran really, really great
Put
at the end.
together a
Daniel
charge
Suarez
in the end.
contending for the win.
Suarez, I mean,
Like before that last spin, Ross Chastain was in the top 5.
yeah, and he was running them
Like,
down. In the damn backup car. That dude knocked the wall down
Yeah,
so
who's
hard
the
it about
backup
fell
car?
over on Saturday. And here he comes in the backup car, driving through the field with like 40 to go. What?
Fucking ridiculous.
There's a
You
lot
know,
when it comes
I
to
wouldn't-
driving
It
through
was
the field
crazy.
yesterday,
It was
though.
awesome.
I wouldn't call him an underdog, but in the race itself, he was an underdog. How about Kyle Busch
Dude,
making it all the way back
My
to
God,
14th?
I
that
thought
was a
they were going to park
comeback.
that car in the first stage when they overheated for like the second or third time. And it was just like,
He
we keep
finished
putting
in the
water
top
in it.
15.
They got that thing to get cool finally. Dude drove and finished 14th.
Look, I don't know how the hell they did it.
I thought there was one that was more impressive, though. I believe. If I need to, I didn't see it. I didn't really pay attention to it. I'm gonna be honest. But I read people saying it online. So take this with a grain of salt. It may not have actually happened, but there was a point in the race. Daniel Hemrick. Did that actually? Was that? Can y'all clear that?
He
one
was
on
2
me?
laps down because of a shifter issue.
He was
That
shifter.
did happen.
I saw 7 getting thrown around, like 7 laps down.
No, it
No, that was
was
Kyle
like
Busch.
more like 2.
Kyle was 7.
Kyle Busch at one point was like 7 or 5, something like that.
Well, Daniel Hemrick, from what I read, is that he was 7. Let's see, he was 2. Anyway, Hemrick being laps down, he finished 9th place.
Mhm.
Yeah. Daniel Hemrick's a good driver. He didn't do so good in 2019 when he did have his little foray in Cup with Richard Childress, but if he ever gets another shot, I think he can definitely capitalize. Obviously, he's running some races this year, but not a full-time
I
schedule.
pulled up the results page just to make sure I got that position right. You want to hear something crazy? Now that we're on the underdogs topic, I'm just gonna run down the list of names here, and I'm just gonna pull up I'm just gonna say some impressive runs. Things I thought were impressive. Austin Dillon P2.
Mhm.
Almost won. Eric Jones, 3rd place, ran in third fire pretty much all day. That was the most impressive by my standard. Daniel
Yeah,
Suarez,
Eric Jones was incredible.
almost won the damn thing. Amazing run from the 99 car. But then guys we didn't really think, like Logano 5th, Almirola 6th, good run for the 10 car.
Especially after those two
think about
amazing
Stuart
stints that he
Haas.
had.
Think about Stuart Haas last year. Eric Almirola 6th, Kevin Harvick 7th, and Harvick struggled throughout most of the day.
Harvick was back.
So he put it all together in the
below
last
top
stage
25.
there, and he finished 6th or 7th. That was a really good run for him. Chris, we talked about this right before we went live. Kurt Busch in 8th. How many cars did you say he
Kurt
passed?
Busch. He passed over 100 cars.
I think it was like
Let me look at the
133 cars. He looked like we watched that replay back after the fact when we were talking about it earlier. He looked like when you get the damn bullet bill in Mario Kart.
He passed 133 cars.
Yeah. I mean,
yesterday.
Dude was just like, pass them all again. Line up in the back, pass them all again. Which is kind of cool. It's like that old, being in the second 2311 car. Maybe not a top 10 car that often, but being able to just drive through the field time and time again, just on his experience alone, and finishing in the top 10, amazing run for them. Daniel Hemrick in 9th place in a part-time Trackhouse entry. Or maybe that's the full-time car.
No, it's not. That's a full-time car.
It's full-time. It's full-time with the rotating drivers, right?
Yeah, it's
that's
him,
it.
Allmendinger, and Greg.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's the second car.
Yeah.
I think the other car, the 31, didn't the 31 knock the wall down?
It crashed.
On the
Like,
last
on the
right
final
last
lap.
They
Managed to
green.
not go back onto the track, though, which is a really good job by him.
Yeah, I mean, he hit that wall hard. At a really
Yeah.
good
That was a
angle,
bad
too.
hit.
It looked like a bad hit, but he just ate it. Like, he literally looked like he ate the wall and kept going. Freaking next-gen car. Anyway, another one. To finish out the top 10, Ricky Stenhouse in the 47 car.
That was a good car all day.
They ran up front in the middle of the day, too. But then to add back to that, here we come again. Cole Custer in 11th. Stuart Haas back up in there.
I'm happy to see him do well.
The lowest
It's
vintage Haas car was Chase Briscoe, 16th place.
But
Me
even
and
then,
Chris were talking about this a lot.
And
All
Briscoe
offseason.
ran up front and
Because
led
of
some
missed
laps in
strategy.
this race. You know what I mean?
I think Briscoe was only there because of a missed strategy call. They just tried to stay out once.
Yeah, they
On
stayed
old
out
tires,
late
just-
on older tires and fell back, and they paid the
But,
price. But they
they were
did
a top
lead.
10,
They did
top
lead
5
for a
car.
little bit there, just because of that.
Yeah, he was a top 10, top 5 car. Briscoe was great all day.
I mean,
I don't think that
defending
16th was
500
definitive
winner,
where he
rookie,
should have been.
12th place in the 2-car, Austin Cindric. He got the pole, firing back off that. Truex 13th, Kyle Busch on the comeback 14th, Denny Hamlin and in the Gibbs trio finishing 15th. Then we had Briscoe. Look at this, Ty Dillon in 17th. That's a pretty good run for the second petty car. Now, here's 3 that really stand out to me. I didn't even realize this until just now. These are, granted it's 20, 21, and 22, but these names, I'm very impressed. I got to give, tip of the hat to these guys. 20th place, Todd Gilliland.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a really good run for him.
That's
I'd say.
awesome for those guys.
Because that car did not run near 20th last year. It ran about 30th at best. I mean, from what
It was
I
a
remember.
bad car last year.
But that, Todd Gilliland proving that, maybe he's not as bad as we kind of gave him crap for last year in the trucks and stuff,
I don't think anybody gave him crap.
I remember we gave him a lot of. I remember we all gave him a lot of crap. Not last year, but back when he was at KBM. That's what I really was saying too. Was he was running for Kyle Busch, and it was like, why are you not like winning in the Kyle Busch car? But outside
then he
of
was
that,
like winning in the DGR truck.
Here's my next two that really stand out to me that I'm impressed with. 21st place, the 15 car, Garrett Smithley. That's damn good.
Yeah.
That's a big payday for that 15 car. And right behind them, you want to talk about carrying momentum and getting a big payday for a little team? BJ McLeod in 22nd, sorry. 22nd place for the 78 car. That's a damn good run, for a 2-miler. They got, one top 10? And since they performed last year, and they got it at Daytona.
BJ McLeod's best ever finish is 9th at Daytona last year.
After a wreck fest that they didn't get involved in. Now, you could say this was a little bit of a wreck fest, but not a lot of cars DNF'd. 31st, 32nd, 33rd, 34th, 35th, and 36th all DNF'd. But everybody else stayed kind of up in there for the most part. But, I got to say, those three, especially Smithley and McLeod in 21st and 22nd, good props to them.
Yeah, that's fantastic for those guys.
That's a good finish, I'd say, for those teams. They're right on the right track. Even Gillen, man, 20th ain't bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they can
McDowell
keep that
finished
momentum,
top 10.
No, McDowell finished 31st. They went out with electrical problems.
Yeah, no, he would have finished top 10.
But he was running up in there. He was knocking on the door.
He DNF'd because of electrical issues, but he was running top 10.
I guess
top
if I'm going to keep
day.
scrolling through here, though, just to wrap it up, I could bring up the point of tough day for the Roush guys, the Keselowski-Roush guys, 27th and 35th. 17 car out early, finished second to last out early with a getting in the wall and 3 and 4 there. And then Keselowski getting caught kind of in somebody else's mess. And tearing
he got tagged a little bit by Bubba.
They finished the race. They were running up there, though, pretty solid. He qualified 9th, but, getting tagged by Bubba, getting into the wall, that took him out of it for the day.
At the time the wreck happened, he was, I believe, in 5th or 6th. So it was a good run for the 6th car until that happened.
Yeah. Anyway, that was kind of that. We kind of extended the underdog segment there a little bit, but really the key takeaway of this was Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez, Austin Dillon. I mean, these guys showed speed. Eric Jones, far and away, my favorite part of the day.
Yeah, I was so happy
in
to
terms
see
of the actual racing. The Twitter shitstorm afterward with Elliott and Larson fans was a good time. But my actual big takeaway here was Eric Jones. That was amazing to see. I'm glad that they were able to seal the deal. They didn't get the win, but they sealed the deal with a third-place finish. Amazing run. I hope to see more of that. I've always been a big, I've always liked to root for Eric Jones. So I'm glad to see him run well. And bring a good day to, Petty, who hasn't seen runs like that in a long time. So
it's been a really long time.
Anyway, so I think that pretty much encapsulates that segment. We didn't really go over this one in our little pre-thing, but I wanted to throw it in here anyway because I think it's a pretty big topic that we totally forgot to even write down.
Yeah, me too.
Tires.
I forgot to write it down.
Tires,
yeah.
man.
Tires, yeah.
The one reason that I would give for a key takeaway that was negative, the only negative takeaway I had from this race was the tire thing, and I think a lot of people agree going off the public opinion on Twitter.
Yeah, even NASCAR.
I'll let y'all take the floor on this one. What do y'all thinking about these tire issues that we're seeing?
Just think they need an inner liner is all.
Yeah, but they can't
NASCAR
fit.
seems like they know there's an issue. And apparently they have a fix in. Apparently, they want to have something tried out by Vegas for these tires. They're doing what they can to try and get it fixed, which I'm fine with. I just want to know what
that's kind of what I'm thinking too. I know that there is a problem and they are working on it, and I think they have everything in their power to fix it. It's just gonna take a minute because they're basically engineering a fix for it as we speak.
Yeah, it's tough to get that
inner
one
liner, they're it won't fit. I think they're gonna find a way to create something. They're just gonna pull something out of their ass and be new technology, baby. By
they were gonna they tried to pick up. They tried the tow truck. That put a couple cars laps down though. That's the only reason Brad finished as low as he did.
Yeah, and Chastain. Chastain didn't hit anything, but he went 4 laps down trying to get back to the damn pit lane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think NASCAR will get it fixed though.
Yeah, they'll get it fixed eventually.
I feel during this season, I'm hoping by April-ish we'll have a pretty solid fix in play to where we won't have guys going this many laps down, and I think that'll only get better. But the big thing for me that even though the tire thing sucked, seeing guys go so many laps down when these tires blow and then they're like beached whales and can't drive back, is at least that's our only real gremlin so far with this car.
Yeah, that's
it's
about
just
it.
a little tire issue. I mean, it's a pretty big issue, but it's not like tires are just like exploding on track outside of Tyler Reddick.
No, this all happened. Guys got spun around. It's like
it's just you go around, you lock them up, they pop the tires, and then it's like, well, I'm stuck.
Nothing is wrong with the tires in terms of the way they function. It's just that when they go flat, the car gets stuck.
Mm-hmm. And they go flat easy because we saw a lot of spins. These cars are hard to drive. You're locking them down. You're sliding on them. They pop, and then you're stuck.
Yeah.
I think there will be some kind of. I'm no tire expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I think some kind of drive on flat interliner system will be developed for these NASCAR tires to fit this wheel. There's going to be something. I don't really know how an interliner works, I'm going to be honest with you, so I'm just talking out of my ass, but I think in my realm of my imagination, there's a lot of smart people that are working for NASCAR and working for Goodyear and just anybody and that can put their 2 cents in on this and make a fix. So I'm not worried about it, and I'm also glad that this is really our only real gremlin, which I kind of already said. But, yeah, that's kind of my key takeaway on the tire thing. What else y'all got? Anything about tires? I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. I just kind of wanted to throw it in.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it is a big issue. I'm glad that it's really our only issue, like I keep saying.
I hope it'll continue to be the only issue.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's our only issue, and the longer we go, the more time we'll just have to get it fixed, and then I think we'll be smooth sailing from there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's pretty much it on tires. Anybody got anything else?
So, I don't know. I think it's about it. Might just be it for, the race, I think, this week. I guess some stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Some talks about things that are happening
soon. Bring up some of the headlines. I missed this one. Y'all informed me of this, earlier today. The Biff is back.
Yeah, he's on the entry list. It won the one-off. Greg Biffle, supposed to be running Las Vegas this week.
NY Racing awesome. Coming back for Vegas. Impressive, too, because, I didn't think, seeing the only 36 chartered cars running in, not a single open car coming to run. Where the hell were we? California, I figured in my mind with all of these NASCAR teams being based in Charlotte, on the East Coast, in today's kind of very expensive market of travel and operation right now, though kind of with the way the economy is, I didn't really see these smaller open teams making that big trek out west. To come run with their only car. But hey, NY Racing is going to throw their hat in the ring at Vegas, so good for them, And Greg Biffle, man, we're going to see the Biff run, and it's not just a one-off at the 500. He's going to try his hand on the 1.5.
Yeah.
Just good. I'm happy to see Biffle back.
I'm really glad they didn't just get some rando to drive the car, because they very easily could have done that. It probably would have been cheaper. But
but we got Greg Biffle. Well, Greg Biffle did say he wanted to help this organization come off the ground. He talks to the owner constantly. He said, originally, hey, if you want to get this going, I am here to help you out. So that's why he came in originally, because, he already promised him he'd help him out with the organization. Right. So I think Biffle is a really good driver to get this team going.
Now that I'm thinking about it and you bring it up, we talked a lot about this just a minute ago with the underdogs and, lower level cars being able to put up pretty big runs.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
I mean, Greg Biffle... It was pretty good. He's a pretty good wheelman, I'd say. He's cut from that same crop, that same population of, where Kurt Busch and Kevin Harvick and all those guys that are our old heads now riding around in the Cup Series, our big veteran guys. He's right there. We saw him come off the couch in that truck race at Texas and go out and whip on him and win it 2 years ago or whatever. I think, and I'm not saying he's going to go out there and win or anything, but they could put up a pretty good finish. I think he could run up into that, maybe run into the 20s, run up into that 20 range.
Yeah, if he finishes top 20, it'd be awesome. I'd love
I
to
don't
see
think he's going to finish top 20. I think
there.
he's going to finish somewhere in the 20s, 20 to 29.
I'd like to see him finish around there.
If he could finish higher than 30, beat 7 cars, that'd be pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
I think the big goal, if NY Racing can finish 25th, or something, that would be pretty dang good. I think they got the right shoe in the car to do that. So, We'll see. I'm excited for Biffle coming back. On a 1.5, especially with the way this car's running. I'm very optimistic that we could see a good run out of him.
All right, it's good to see the Biff.
That's
Really
going to
happy
lead
about
us
that one.
into our, I believe, the last topic.
So
I
is
think.
that all
Yeah, I
we
think
got
it's our
on
last
Greg
one we
Biffle?
have.
Yep.
Okay. See you later, Greg. Well, actually, see you this weekend.
See you this weekend.
Anyway, Chicago.
Uh-huh.
Chicago.
Yeah. So
Hate Chicago.
Thing.
they raced it on iRacing last year. James Davison absolutely dominated that race. A lot of people thought it was just a little fun little iRacing gimmick. Didn't really think much of it. Just a pro invitational race. And per the Sports Business Journal, NASCAR may be looking to race on the Chicago Street Course as soon as 2023.
Yeah, that's big. It's really big news. I did not see it coming at all. Like, at all.
I'm excited for it, though.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. These cars, too, they're more road course oriented. So,
Yeah, I mean,
think it'll be a really fun one.
I've been sort of seeing NASCAR go to something like a street course. We see it in all our other forms of motorsport here in the United States with IndyCar and IMSA. At like Long Beach and IMSA. Going or Long Beach, Toronto, St. Pete. In the IndyCar side of things, but NASCAR. I think these cars. We haven't seen them run on a road course yet. We will in about a month's time. But next year, as early as next year, having this thing set up, it could also fall through. So, we're not going to get our hopes up too much. But, I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm with it. I think it'll be cool. It's a good market. It's Chicago, one of the biggest cities in the United States. They lost Chicagoland, but Chicagoland was a little out of town. This would be right in the damn heart of Chicago. So,
hard to miss it.
Could be fun. I'm all for it. I'm interested. NASCAR definitely showing that they're open to trying new things with the Coliseum, the dirt race, the Roval a couple years back. So just keep that progression going. Let's see if it hits or see if it's a miss. There's only one way to find out. You got to go do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, just go try it out.
I don't know. I think I'm open. I'm excited for it if it can come through.
Yeah, we inch forever closer to the New York City race.
I think you're thinking
one day.
Too optimistic. It's like
one
in
day
the Formula One world with their one day they're claiming for that F1 Las Vegas on the Strip race, and I don't know if that's really gonna ever come to fruition, but maybe one day.
Here's something that I would say is not too far fetched though. While we're in the realm of street courses, Formula One is going to Miami next year. I would say that's not out of the question for NASCAR in the future, possibly.
Yeah, but
I definitely wouldn't count.
They're not going to build a street circuit twice in the year. So they'd have to go there and share the Formula One weekend, which I don't see happening.
It's early, really early.
It's just a track they're building.
We see NASCAR do the IndyCar doubleheader. It would be amazing to see them share the weekend with Formula One, but we'll see. I think it would be fun. If we could see a Formula One NASCAR shared weekend, granted. It'd be. It's very far fetched. But if there ever was a possibility, run the Cup, just have Cup go and have Cup run on Saturday, outside of F1 qualifying, and then have. They'd have to get such a bad time slot though for the amount of time that they want and need.
Yeah.
Plus, the pit lane would be a mess because they'd have to build a pit wall.
I suppose
because Formula One pits don't have a wall, and NASCAR's do. Like they had Dakota this year, they had to build that temporary pit wall. Which I guess they could do. You just got to lay down a bunch of cinder blocks and make sure they're all nice and tight or whatever. But
suppose they don't share a weekend. What if they just kept the track up for a week and had it like the week after?
Yeah, that is true. They could do that, but now we're having to close down roads for another week. So I don't know if the city's going to want to buy in on it. But plus, think about it. Like in this light, you'd have like all these local fans in Miami shilling out an arm and a leg for Formula One weekend tickets, and then they're gonna come to a NASCAR race the weekend after.
Yeah,
I think they'll pass. or they'll pick
Yeah.
one or the other.
Yeah, probably.
I'll wait for my local NASCAR race that we already know is happening.
Yeah,
Definitely.
the one down at the Oval.
Definitely really happening. Real.
Homestead.
Anyway, that was a
I thought we were
little
talking
fun
about
topic. But,
our
back
stuff.
on Chicago, I think if it goes through, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be fun to see NASCAR, the Cup Series, run on a street course, which is, a big element, I'd say, in the world of motorsports is street course circuits for their charm and their evil walls and bumpy surfaces. But, hey, that's all part of the charm. So, yeah, exciting rumors in the rumor mill of NASCAR world, I would say. Anything else really on that topic?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, anyway, back to the that's kind of pretty much it. You can wrap it up. That wraps up our race recap in the rumor mill. I mean, what else y'all got going on? Anything else you want to talk about?
Nothing I can think of. Adrian, Vito, what about you?
Adrian, Vito? Y'all excited for Las Vegas next weekend?
Yeah. Oh wait, let's go over predictions.
Oh yeah, we could throw the predictions up. I mean, who got? Was I the only one that picked Larson?
Yeah, you were the only one that picked Larson.
Me and Adrian picked Kyle Busch.
I'm winning. You're not
and
winning.
And then for Las Vegas, let me check. For Las Vegas, we have myself picking Kyle Larson, Brandon picking Ryan Blaney, Chris picking Joey Logano, and Vito picking Kyle Larson.
Okay, so we got 2 Larsons, a Blaney, and a Logano. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Seem like pretty safe picks.
Not predicted, but I do think he's going to have a really good shot, especially after this week. I think Chase Elliott's going to put up a big run at it. He finished second in the playoff race there last year. I think he's looking for that oval win. Hasn't gotten one since November of 2020. I think he's going to be a tough out to maybe potentially win the race next week, or I suppose this week. So yeah, Las Vegas got all 3 series going. Cup, Xfinity, Trucks. So we'll have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. So this week we had a Monday show for the viewers that catch us live. We might. Next week we're gonna have to have another Monday show, I think. But hopefully after that we can get back on our Sunday schedule. But we talked about that you know how it rolls. We just kind of go with the punches. It's either gonna be a Sunday or a Monday or a Tuesday or a Saturday if we race on a Saturday night.
And worst comes to worst, you can just watch the VOD.
Yeah, we'll get the show out there, and follow us on YouTube, Woodyhead Promotions. You'll see all the Woodyhead Productions, whatever the hell we're called. I forget sometimes. We'll be on the wide web. You can go check us out on YouTube. Watch back all your favorite episodes. Hopefully, you can scrub through, and see the different labels on the screen there to help you find different points if you want to just skip around and go through the chapters, see what's going on. Cut your favorite parts of the episode. All the highlights. Vito falling in his chair back at Daytona. Go check it out. Anyway, that's pretty much it. That's all I got. I don't know about y'all. I think we've pretty much wrapped it up here.
I think so.
Else? All right, we're moving on to Vegas. Halfway through the West Coast swing, pretty much next week. So we'll see who takes it at our first mile and a half of the year. It's going to be a big test, I'd say, for the next Gen 7 car, because mile and a halves have kind of been the plague for the last 10 years, I'd say. People hate them. I think we could change their mind with how this car is running so far. I'm very excited. I'm very optimistic. But without further ado, that's pretty much it. We're Spin Tunnel, and you're not, and we'll see you next week.